Hello everybody, this is Carthel, and we're at the aftermath of it all. The pedophile in question has finally been banned from Jeya's server, as I've been told now, and now I'm making a video. The doc that has been shown before is going to be updated with this as the aftermath, as we're going to go over each day, all the 10 days that he's been in there, and what the staff apparently had been doing, which is practically done nothing with this guy. And after this, we're gonna go to another creator who is also having bad moderation practices. Let's begin. Throughout 10 days after the video had been released alongside another document, Creation Metagamer was still on their server, actively communicating with minors and the staff team. It is unknown to me why they had decided to ban him after 10 days, but it may be due to the pressure of people noticing and informing others of the video and the documents that had been released. But it is a relief now that the Predator is banned, despite it taking several days to do so. Although I do wish they do a public apology toward their community members and the victims for putting them through this. Twice. Jeaya and Co. let a Predator stay in their community despite evidence which put the victims and several minors at risk. Yet no apology has been given, or perhaps even thought of. The demand that is needed is a formal public apology to the people affected by their horrendous moderation. Now this is a request, or more so a demand of a public apology in both of the servers for letting a Predator roam around for 10 days, right? This is not okay, and the fact that you guys did a quote-unquote response that was inherently AI generated, even if it wasn't, it was a terrible response, and I do refute it in my previous video about this issue. It's not okay. This has to be informed, as we're gonna go through the screenshots as we go further. It's shown that there's only a few community members talking, and those community members don't know what is going on. And even if they said they have watched the video, I don't think they have fully watched the video all the way through or read any of the documents fully through. But there's no blame on them because most of them are minors, right? And in the end, it's us adults who have to educate these minors on what is right or wrong, what is dangerous for them, and the fact that Jeaya and his staff let a Predator still stay around a server filled with minors and didn't even tell them the threats or the dangers about it it's horrendous. And also, if my voice is a bit off, or if I'm coughing, or if I'm sniffling, excuse me for that. I'm sorry. I'm just sick. I've been sick the past few days, but you know, me being sick doesn't stop me from continuing to be the voice for the victims. Here, day one, I'm not getting banned. You can see him. He switched his name to a leave me alone crying emoji. Look, pedophile, you didn't leave the minors alone, so we're still gonna be on your ass. Day 2 of not getting banned. Another screenshot. He's still in there. Day 3 of not getting banned. Let's read this. Day 3 of not getting banned. On day 3, Jeaya and his partner decided to remove their profile pictures. Will that keep minors safe? Will that make the victims affected by this relieved? No, it will not. This gesture is expected of young teens having a personal drama, not adults failing to take care of a pedophile. Not only that, during this time, Temmie is speaking with people in the server, ignoring the pedophile on the server. Few messages after show that the pedophile is speaking in the same channel, but there is a minor saying that they are uncomfortable with heavily sexualized avatars. These adults do not care about the well-being of minors, not only that, the user seems to be not informed about what is going on. Some acknowledge that there is a video and a document. Yet, measures were added to block the Predator's name from being said on the server. They put in a measure to block the pedophile's name in their server if someone were to bring him up, yet again, defending him. I've said this time and time and again, if you're gonna be, if you don't want people to speak about it, or if you don't want people to even bring it up, and you put a measure like this, you ban him first and then you do it. Or you do it at the same time when you're banning him, because then it wouldn't be seem like you'd be protecting him. You're defending him and protecting him by not letting anyone be aware of who he is, because the moment they mention it, the message is gone and the pedophile is still there speaking with minors. The fact that you even added a mechanism like that, and you still let him in, just says everything about you. There's that. Here's the screenshots. Here. One of the users, all users have been blanked because they're not involved, they're probably misinformed or do not know what's going on. So, no harassment to these guys. In case you do know who they are, this is just to show that the staff, Miss Temmie here involved, quite literally did not fucking care. Here, I'm so fucking happy that I'm not a part of the UT community. Only interacting with my friends, but I don't know if I should leave or not. I mean, dude, this is all a lot. And Miss Temmie says, no worries, I also quit the Undertale community long ago. It's super refreshing. I'm usually too busy in real life and work to be around anyways. Lol. Anyways, blank, did you get Timekeeper yet? They say they quit the Undertale community long ago, while being a staff for somebody who makes Undertale avatars, right? He sells them. They say that with a Undertale name, Temmie, with a Undertale profile picture, there's Sans in the picture, in an Undertale-oriented server. Quit what? What did you quit? You quit nothing. You're still there, right? So, and then of course, out here asking if blank has gotten Timekeeper yet. That's okay, man. Like, what are we doing? I'm in the community and it's a slog, but you can meet some cool people. The Undertale community is a dumpster fire these days. The Undertale community is not so goody. And blank says that they did get the Timekeeper. Here, I'm gonna migrate to my friend's house in an hour. I left VRChat like a year ago and stay in the VRChat Undertale server to support my friends, but I stay in the ARC community because it's a lot better than fucking VRChat. Low-key real. I spent 2 months off of Discord and VRChat till the start of December. At the end of January, it did numbers for my mental health in a good way. Because VRChat is like a fucking tumor that you gotta exercise. It's draining and it's just another social media climate that's disguised as a game so that the devs of VRChat don't have to monitor as much as you would like Twitter or Tumblr. And tell me here. Oh yeah, social media is super bad for your mental health. I'm glad to see it did wonders for you. Okay, we're just gonna ignore that there's a pedophile on the server as of current. We're just gonna like sweep that off the side. One thing I despise about the Undertale community is how we letting anyone back. Honestly, I can't remember the last time I was on VRChat, Temmie says. Yeah, like people are letting Miss Starlight back, those who know. Like the part of the community I stay with, Art Sphere. And here, Temmie says, I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy lately. Says, oh god, so Miss Temmie has been playing a lot of Final Fantasy, they say. So you've been playing games while there's been a pedophile in your server. Like, you're a staff here. You're literally a staff here. Come on, man. Are you gonna do something? Or is this gonna be keep on chit-chatting, ignoring? Alright. Here. I have a couple, but they never got worn around kids, because, no. There's a few screenshots more, right? The screenshots have been taken from bit. Some of them don't include really much of important media. The conversation before this was people talking about skelly jellies and how it's weird to be wearing them in public, and I agree with that sentiment, but that's not really what we're focusing on here. As we can see here, right? Yes, it's because it's fucking weird that judge people harshly when they do that shit, on God. And then the pedophile here goes, anyone remember back when Snowdenverse was popular? And then the blanks here say, oh god, I remember when they tried to bring it back. Understandably, kids don't need to be seeing boobies like giant knockers, dude. You know, just people talking about safety of children when there's a pedophile also in the server. Like they're talking about safety of minors and there's literally someone who predates on minors. Here, kids also don't need to be seeing extremely suggestive clothing. I'm talking melons, exactly. And here is Metagame saying, I still go to Snowdenverse for the nostalgia. Right, and blank says, God, that reminds me of that one tutorial avatar. And then this is important. One blank says, I'm saying this as a minor. Seeing that shit makes me uncomfortable nowadays. A minor, speaking of how uncomfortable suggestive avatars is for him, whilst there's a pedophile in the server. You see the problem? This minor is aware of things that can be dangerous to him, but he's not aware that there's a literal pedophile one message away from him. One message away. This is, you see the danger. This is quite literally the encapsulation of why their moderation has been horrendous, right? This is what they they've quite literally put children in danger. Here. Let's see. I left for 2 days and knew a video drama appeared. What the hell happened? Right? Somebody says I'm scared. And here, just watch it, bro. Genuinely diabolical. I'm genuinely gonna say this. I wish I had eye bleach when I saw it. And that's like that's not referring to the video. That's referring for, they were talking about some suggestive avatars. And the pedophile here says, for real, me too. Right? And one blank says, I watched the first one, which was like 3 hours. And somebody asks, can I have a little summary? And this blank says, I only watched like a bit, so let me LARP real quick and see if I'm right. So they didn't watch the entire thing, they only watched a little bit, so they don't know fully like what it's all entailing about it. They just, as I said, they're misinformed. These are kids, right? Of course, some of them might not want to sit down through a video that talks about all this, but in the end, non-informing them puts them in danger, quite literally. Here, if bro's name gets brought up here, the message gets blocked today, alert. They just put a measure to defend the pedophile, okay. The first video went over the docs, and I didn't know there was a second video. Yeah, second, apparently something AI related or something, I don't know, I don't feel like watching. Just, they don't feel like watching, they don't feel like watching evidence, right, of Jeaya being horrendous. Well, the entire team being horrendous. I mean, the evidence is also happening right now. So there's that. The big Karth is accusing Jeaya of only liking money and not caring about children's safety. Which apparently there was a pedo in here, will not name him because I'm not sure if he's still here, and yada yada. And said for the second video that Jeaya's apology is AI. It's horrendous that someone can say, which apparently there was a pedo in here. Will not name because I'm unsure if he's still there, and yada yada. This person is aware that there could be a pedo in there, but they're unsure. They're unsure. Now, isn't that a responsibility of Jay and the team to, when someone acknowledges that there's a pedo in there, that it's not only me saying it, it's not only victims coming out, and not only several months had gone by with this pedophile in the server, that they should do something about it? No, they don't. They don't. Here, day 4, I'm not getting banned. He's still in there. Day 5, I'm not getting banned. He sends an image in media. Send help, I'm being taken hostage. It's his cat. We're letting the pedophile send images. That's literally an image of himself in a server with minors. They just let a pedophile send images. An image of himself in a server. Okay. Day 6 of not getting banned. On the 6th day, Temmie starts that they made one of the staff members play song on Beat Saber. The pedophile responds to the video that Temmie had shared. The team was gathered around watching one of the staff members play a game rather than banning a pedophile. And here is Temmie's the message they sent. We made Anton play Through the Fire and Flames on Beat Saber, and it killed him. So they've been just hanging around the past few days while there's been a pedophile speaking in the server. Right? There's been a pedophile speaking in the server, and what do? They let one of the staff members play Beat Saber, and they watch him do it. They're just hanging around and doing fucking nothing. Here is it now, and here is the pedophile says pain. Right. Day 7 not getting banned. Pedophile here says my bad. Now I assume there's been messages deleted from on the top here, because he says my bad. Miss Temmie says you're good. Miss Temmie says you're good to a pedophile who says my bad. Now I don't know what the context is, right? But I would never say you're good to a pedophile. But Miss Temmie would. Temmie would gladly do that, apparently. Right? Day 8, I'm not getting banned. Here is the pedophile communicating with someone, right? Telling them to must press red button. I assume it's like some type of instruction, maybe trying to help them with something, which is still horrendous that you're letting this pedophile communicate with. I don't know, they could be a minor, could be an adult, but it's still a fucking pedophile communicating with someone in your server. Right, day 9, I'm not getting banned. Here. Someone said swap apps tomorrow, trust. And here it says steal your liver. The pedophile replies to the person, and this is a minor because I know that this guy's a minor. I know that this person is a minor. right? I'm not gonna reveal them, of course. The reason I know that they're a minor is that I've had contact with them. So I know when I saw the screenshot uncensored, I knew who it was. So this is a minor who is now communicating with a pedophile, right? Day 10, finally getting banned. Despite him being banned for what I hope could be because he is a pedophile, Chibi is still friends with him in Discord. They banned him from the server today, or yes, it is the 10th day, right? And Chibi is still friends with him. He's still in the mutual friends list. Chibi, what's going on? Like, and that's what I'm saying. They don't care. They're disingenuous. They might ban or do something. Just like the same thing with the Shadowcult and Alpha Tail. Right, I've been looking. I don't think they've been changing at all. Alpha Tail's still under Trello. So it's like, what are you guys doing? You really don't care. You just gotta do it. Did people speaking up or realize get so much? Did it get too far for you? Couldn't you not handle it? But yeah, so it's really disingenuous. And that's so far the aftermath. And now we'll go to another creator that has been doing horrendous moderation, right? Which also includes being rude to the victim of this pedophile. Let's go there. This document aims to show the very poor moderation of Barabones. Despite all the recent evidence being brought back up, alongside new evidence of a predator that is both active in Jeaya servers and theirs, they shut down the evidence, only due to it being tied to Carthol rather than looking through it with respect to the victim who reached out. A week has gone by and no action has been taken. The demands are for the pedophile to be banned instantly upon viewing of this document, public apology for the victim and the community that would have been put in danger, as well as ceasing their interest in incest. Trigger warning for topics of pedophilia, CP, and pro-shipping. We'll get into that. As said, when the victim reached out, right, they got clearly really rude responses from Barabones. And in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm gonna give Barabones a fucking week because it doesn't take that long to watch 30 minutes of a video, or maybe even a few minutes of my video that does expose a pedophile. And even then, the victim did give screenshots, but you know, I was like, okay, I'll give them a week. Maybe they have to get their hands around. Maybe they're a little bit busy in their life. I'll give you a little bit of fucking hint of you know, sympathy. In a week, nothing has been taken. Nothing has been done. So that's key. Barabones being contacted about metagamer creation. The victim of metagame creation contacts Barabones through the support ticket system in their server, bringing the issue of creation being a pedophile. The victim shares screenshots and explains their intent to get the pedophile banned to keep minors safe. The screenshots show metagamer being sexual and flirtatious with them while the victim was 17. Despite sharing evidence as well as Carthol's video, which covers the matter, Barabones immediately antagonizes the victim, questioning why they had brought up my video, questioning if they did not have any evidence from themselves, despite the victim literally sharing a screenshot of creation being sexual in a video that covers the matter. Not only that, they ask if Carthol had put them up to expose the pedophile, which was not the case. Here's a screenshot that shows that the victim reached out to me saying, hey, I got in contact with someone in charge of the server, and it's not looking good, right? Because the moment I use your video as evidence, they got hostile. And I'm like, who is it? And they go like, Barabones, and they share the screenshots. And it's like, this shows I didn't send them. They went out of their way to contact Barabones. They didn't want a pedophile in their server. I mean, I don't know why would that be such a problem? And even then, I state here in the doc, even if Carthol had put them up to it, reporting and exposing a pedophile to get them out of a server is bad? Okay, you know, we'll see. The victim explains that they do not care if Carthol and Jeaya have issues with each other, but highlights the fact that there is an entire section in the video exposing the pedophile. After that, they argue against the victim, saying that the victim is talking in circles, and that the screenshot where metagame creation is asking the minor to tease them, calling them mommy and sexy, is a flirtatious screenshot of a single conversation, is not suitable to claim sexual relationships. It's unfortunately just creepy. This 28-year-old right, thinks an adult calling a minor mommy and sexy while wanting them to tease them is not enough to claim that a sexual relationship that had been held, even if it were to be flirtatious. An adult flirting with a minor is wrong. The adult proves that they do not understand the severity of the situation. Mind you, Barabones is a 28-year-old man, right? This is a 28-year-old. They have gone through life. They're entering fucking 30. And when literally the screenshot, it might be down here actually, the screenshot of the pedophile in question telling the minor, you know, calling them sexy, wanting them to tease them, calling them mommy, right, is not evident enough. That doesn't imply a sexual relationship. That's just creepy. In their eye, it's just creepy. That's flirtatious. Yeah, Barabones is, you've hit your head. So something's gone wrong. I don't know what's going on, man. The victim, realizing that the reason for Barabones being so defensive for the pedophile was due to Carthel's video, suggests sharing another video completely unconnected to Carthel, yet Barabones says that they are not asking for a video nor a document, wanting the minor to explain it to them. If it were to be a Discord conversation or done in VRChat, despite literal screenshots from victims' DMs had been released earlier, Vara, what do you want then? If you don't want a video, you don't want a document, you don't want screenshots, what kind of fucking evidence do you want then? I don't fucking know how they work. Despite wanting proof, they say that they do not want a video nor a document. They ask for formal evidence, yet they disregard and deny the literal 2 formal pieces of evidence that had been given. After this, the victim states that they did have sexual relations with the pedophile in VRChat. I mean, you don't even have them to have to state that. The screenshot in itself shows that they did have that relation, you know, like the screenshot right here shows that they did have some sort of fucking sexual relationship, but Barabones is too dense in the head to even fucking read. Barabones states that they do not intend to victim blame, stating that there has been a trend of people being accused of things yet it being refuted, making the initial claims untrue. They ask yet again for evidence besides accusations, evidence of screenshots of the pedophile literally being sexual and a video going over the essential clips proving that that the pedophile is guilty alongside a document linked in the description was denied by them. You wanted evidence, you were given evidence, but then you say you don't want evidence, but then you go back on saying, I want evidence. What do you want? It feels like you're just kind of running around. You're the one running around in circles, bro. They state that they had watched Carthel's videos 2 years ago. The video released 2026, 20th of May. They blatantly lied to the victim face, disrespecting them. What video did you watch 2 years ago? Because I didn't, when they released the video about the thing about Jeya's poor moderation, including the expose of a predator, that wasn't 2 years ago, right? That was a week ago. Why are you lying to a victim straight up to their face? You're basically calling the victim dumb and stupid, right? The video didn't, I think 2 years ago I released some gameplay video, or maybe a podcast. Did you watch those? Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Bara. 28-year-old man, by the way, somehow watched a video that I released a week ago, 2 years ago. Yeah, fucking prime intelligent being, by the way. Fully developed brain. They ask if the video includes lies or misunderstandings of Jeaya. They'd want to skip it, due to them thinking that they know Carthel's dishonest grudge towards Jeaya. Despite the video including screenshots, audio recording, as well as a cover of Jeya's counter document, Barabones took the side of Jeaya without even doing the due diligence of watching the video or investigating the matter. They're like, you're just throwing away the entire video where it has all the evidence, all the screenshots, all the audio memos, even a cover. I do cover their counter document. All of that can be disregarded because of my dishonest grudge. I mean, hey, if you think me having a grudge of them defending a pedophile is dishonest, I mean, that's on you, right? Then I don't think I'd ever want to talk to you or even fucking speak to you. But that's on you, man. Let's see. The victim, prioritizing the pedophile, as they had stated before, says that they share important timestamps of the video. Barabones states that they take situations like these very seriously, despite quite literally having shut down the victim for sharing clear evidence only because one of the videos was made by Carthol. Not only that, blatantly lying to the victim that they had watched the video 2 years ago when it had been released a few days prior to their conversation. Yeah, you take the situation very seriously, so you'll lie to the victim saying you watched a video released a few days ago as 2 years ago. Yeah, that you took it very seriously, man. You're rivaling Pam Bondi when it comes to this. Let's see, what else? Not only that, well, you just shut down the victim, despite them showing like literal screenshots. You take things very seriously, but like a predator saying this to a minor is just creepy in your eyes. Yeah. In the end, the victim links the video with the timestamps, apologizing for the unprofessionalism in the video, whilst also stating that they did not have the courage to speak up about this before. The victim had courage to speak up about this now because I made a video exposing the predator, as well as exposing big creators that kept him, okay? Now, they had the confidence to go up to you and bring up this issue, yet you're dumbing them down, beating them down. You're saying, oh, I'm not doing any victim blaming, but this is like secondary victimization. This is what you're doing. Here's the screenshots. Let's read them. Let's cover them. The user seen in the first screenshot is a pedophile who had sexual relations with me when I was 17. I was hoping to remove them from the server to protect any and all minors within the server. 2 examples of this can be found in the second and the third images. He had since changed his username to the first screenshot. Okay? Keep that in mind. He had since changed his username to the first screenshot. This may sound intrusive, but do you have proof? Word of mouth is not something we accept. Do you have proof? They say. When they literally show screenshots. They show screenshots. And one of these screenshots literally include this. Do you have proof? Did you read? Did you look? Did you do anything? Proof he had changed his name. I can send links for a few videos about the situation if you'd like as well. So they show a screenshot here of the pedophile speaking with them. I recommend, if you'll watch the video, to skip to the second document section of the video. Right? They say don't watch all of it, just skip to the second document. And then they go like, so this is about Jeaya. I'm shutting this down immediately. I'm going to be rude about this and I apologize for it. Did Carthol put you up to this? They instantly, bro, like they're going hoops and bounds. Somehow made this about Jeaya. It isn't, right? They didn't tell you watch the entire thing. They didn't tell you this ticket wasn't made because it included Jeaya. No, it was about a pedophile with the name of like Metagamer. And they show screenshots first. And the screenshot doesn't say Jeaya. The name isn't Jeaya in the screenshots now, are they? Right? And it's like, I'm going to be rude about this. You say that to a fucking victim? You're going to be rude to a victim of pedophilia. And it's funny that you acknowledge it and you say, and I apologize for that. Then why, if you acknowledge it, why be rude? Right? Because it's not about Jeaya. Right? You're just, I don't know why you're taking sides instantly. And did Carthol put you up to this? Why does that fucking matter? And here, then they say, no, it's not about Jeaya. I'm only concerned for minor safety from the pedophile. Okay? You know, the victim still being respectful despite the hostility. Barabones says, then why bring up Carthol's video in the first place? Did you read what they said? I'll read it for you, Barabones. It's okay, buddy. Look, prove he had changed his name. I can send you links for the few videos about the situation if you like as well. I recommend, if you'll watch the video, to skip to the second document section of the video. Okay? It's a part of the evidence. Right? Do you not have your own evidence of your own claims? They showed you screenshots. They literally showed you screenshots. What? You see how they say, do you have evidence? Oh, you don't have evidence. Do you have evidence? Oh, you don't have evidence. It's weird. Carthol has kicked up the dirt on the situation again in the past few days, and I don't see it as coincidence that you suddenly come to me about this when it could have at any other point. Maybe because the victim got some fucking confidence that I'm speaking up for them, and yet again I'm speaking up for them, right? And I will continue to speak up for them. Doesn't matter what's gonna go on, I'm gonna continue to make their voice heard, right? As much shit, I'm gonna kick up as much dirt as I can. As much as I can to keep the predator gone from community servers. for minor safety and for the victims. I don't know why it's so like difficult for this 28-year-old man to comprehend something like that. You know, that it has to be someone going out for them. That it's someone out there. No, it's not. Here, because it has a section about the pedophile showing clips of a confession. I don't really care what beef there is between people. Victim doesn't care. Victim doesn't care about if I were to have any problems with Jeaya. Okay? And here. Then Barabones says, so you are telling me no and talking in circles then? They didn't say no and they're not talking in circles. They said, here's the evidence that you requested. And I don't care if if Cartel has any problem with Jeaya. This video has evidence of the predator. And you go like, no. This has to be about Jeaya. This has to be about Jeaya. Your staunch defender. Right? And shows even that you lied saying you watched the video 2 years ago. Let's say you somehow fucking like watched the video that released a week ago, 2 years ago. If you watched it fully through, then you'd know that this what I've said and what I've been saying is correct, right? If everything's been proven, and you're just taking their side. Cool. What does that say about you, man? Here, so you're telling me no talking circles then. I asked you a question and want that answer before I proceed with anything at all. A flirtation screenshot of a single conversation not suitable to claim sexual relationship is unfortunately just creepy. Literally, the predator called them sexy and wanted them to tease them. And he called them mommy. What else do you, like... You don't find that weird? You just find that creepy? You don't find that illegal? That an adult has that relationship with a minor? Yeah, you're weird. You're the creepy one. Because I don't know how the fuck you can think. The victim here, yet again, being respectful. I can grab a different video, not by Cartel if you'd like. And then Barabones goes like, are you misunderstanding my question? I'm not asking for a video. I'm not asking for a doc. If it is deemed necessary, I will ask for it. You claimed he was predatory to you. Explain to me how so. This your conversation? VR contact with proof? This is how you know that they genuinely don't fucking care. They don't want a video proving that he's a pedophile. They don't want a document proving that he's a pedophile, right? They go like, tell me, just tell me. No evidence, no nothing, just tell me. What did he do? Did he do it in VR chat? Did he do it in Discord? Even though you're being provided a screenshot of him being sexual and genuinely that there's a sexual relationship between those two in Discord. So what else? What do you want? What do you want, right? Or is it just that you don't understand how to deal with situations like these? 28-year-old, by the way. The person says, me and the pedophile had sexual relations on VR chat. Yes, unfortunately, I didn't record the sexual acts. And here Barabones says, I do not try to victim blame or stress out those who have experienced horrible things like that, but I hate to say it, but it is a trend recently to say someone did something and it come back that it wasn't true, and only plot to ruin someone over petty grudges. I assume this is something, maybe could this be, are you hinting at Jeaya? Are you hinting at Jeaya? Is this what? I mean, mind you, this is not the first time fucking up a situation like this that could be this serious, right? Barabones, you know very well that you fucked it up with me as well, right? But I'm not gonna bring it up. I'm not gonna show the screenshots and the evidence of it here. But if you're watching, you know. Here. Give me the other video, then if there is concrete proof of these. I've seen Cartel's video 2 years ago. Fucking this idiot. Like, why are you quite? You just called the victim a dumbass. You just called the victim a dumbass. I watched Cartel's video 2 years ago. Who are you lying to? Who are you lying to? I'll rewatch it later when I'm not at work. If it pertains to the lies misunderstanding of Jeaya, tell me what to skip because I know very well Cartel's dishonest grudge towards him and I will leave it at that. Tell me where to start in the other video. What's my dishonest grudge? As said, is my grudge that they keep a pedophile on their server and they defended them with records and screenshots and audio recordings? Is all of that, is that a dishonest grudge? And if it is a dishonest grudge, then fuck, man, you're weird. You're just weird. Here. The victim's still respectful despite being disrespected. Okay, I'll find the exact timestamp to start at. Barabones says, good. Also, tell me what the person's name was 2 years ago. It's in the screenshot. It's in the screenshots. The alleged perpetrator, if I have banned him from the server once, I will do so again after this conversation. I take allegations like this very, very seriously. I hope you understand why it may sound I'm being rude. You're not taking the situation seriously. You're not. You're genuinely not. What you're taking seriously is taking a serious stance for Jeaya's defense. That's what you're doing. In a situation that's not about Jeaya. Right? It's just the evidence is in a video that talks about Jeaya. You know? So... you're not taking it seriously. All you're doing is being rude to a victim that doesn't deserve it, right? And I'll ask the viewer here, if a victim, actually, if you don't know if somebody's a victim, they say they're a victim of pedophilia, right? They go up to you and they're like, hey, I'm a victim of this. Would you respond in being rude or being respectful throughout it, right? Despite not maybe being given proof so far, this is a potential victim. You have to treat them with respect. Am I wrong or am I right? Right? You're not, like I love the Barabones like, acknowledges that they're being rude to a victim, right? So why can you just not stop being rude? The thing is, you can be blunt and respectful, right? But you don't have to be fucking rude. You don't have to dumb them down. You don't have to call them a dumbass by lying to their face that you watched a video that you have not watched because you said you watched it 2 years ago, okay? I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what your game plan is. It's horrendous that you talk to a victim like this. But we'll continue. Here. Alright. The victim says, his original name, I knew him by, was Creation. I can't exactly remember the numbers in his username. Also, for the video, you should start at 3:31:37. I apologize if it's a few seconds before the actual clips play. They're still respectful. They apologize if in case it's a little bit off, you know. Let's see, let's go down. Here. His original name, I knew him by, was Creation. I can't exactly remember the numbers. Then they send the actual, what's it called? Timestamp of the video. I got confused between Carl's video and this one. I assumed they edited it. Fortunately, the video was not professional, but he did confess to what he had done. Also, for context of why I'm only saying anything now is because I didn't have the courage to speak up before. I apologize for any inconvenience. They still apologize. They don't need to apologize genuinely. They didn't do anything wrong, this victim. So they keep on providing, you know, despite, you know, Bara say they don't want a video, they don't want anything. Now the video now is fine because it's not connected to me. That's cool. But hey, you'd expect, you know, like one could look maybe aside. It was like, okay, maybe they'll ban now the pedophile after this. So a day or two after, they come back and they go like, not to bother, but have you seen the video yet? Or thinking about what to do next about the situation. Not trying to be rude, just wanting to help make the server a safer place. They're trying to be helpful, right? And they're saying they're not trying to be rude, they're checking in, or is it being handled? And Barabones says, I'm carefully thinking things over. The way the second video was presented and handled was incredibly unserious and hard to really discern certain things. Please do not rush my decisions. Yeah, buddy, it's been a week. How long does it to think over? I mean, I'll play all the clips that is notable from the video. You watched 30 minutes. Yeah, you watched 30 minutes. Here's the main clips. If you only had watched my video, you know, that would have helped you a lot, but you didn't. I mean, I guess you did. You watched it 2 years ago. What am I saying? Here it is.
What the fuck did you say just a second ago?
Around April or fucking May, I broke up with him. And then turns out in July, he gets together with Mal and shit. Me and Creation had sexual relations as well. That was when I was 17 and he was probably like 21.
I'm sorry, what?
What? So the real question is, why?
I don't know, it's probably good on my dad's side.
You think just because your dad diddled kids makes it any better? That's like if I were to start diddling my son because my grandfather did that to my father. That is a disgusting excuse. So don't you say shit.
So you admit it? So you actually admit it? Ew, I dated another pedophile.
Did you know they were 17?
No, I didn't.
You said you didn't know they were 17, then why'd you say that? You just say that.
What do you say? Actually, you know what? Block them. Block their face so that we don't pop up in the recording. Were you 17 and did they know?
Yeah, so, buddy,
They knew?
we just want to know.
I have it in my fucking bio.
Did you tell him though?
Yes, I did tell him.
The bio is public information. It's a biography of oneself. Something that is definitely something that's right.
Wait,
I
does he
gotcha.
know how to read? What was
Yeah,
going through
yeah,
your mind
buddy.
at the time?
Also, more importantly, why the fuck did you not tell me you were a pedophile? I would have never touched you ever. Like, ill, my guy. My guy.
Literally.
Never touched you.
That's
ever.
probably why.
Is a
Yeah, most likely.
Crazy son.
He was so desperate for pussy, I guess. I don't know.
Okay,
What, am I
let's keep
wrong?
the
Am I
insults
wrong?
down. Let's keep the insults down.
Yes.
Yeah,
We're doing this
yeah,
Chris
fair.
Hansen's way.
This is serious.
Why?
Yo!
Hey, shut the fuck back down! Alright, don't make me call that BOS!
We're gonna have
So,
to treat this like kindergarten.
just tell us why.
Shoulders,
Sure,
knees,
he's
and
taking his
toes,
time.
interrogation.
You heard the questions. He's taking his time.
What kind of laugh was that? What the fuck? Sorry. I don't know, man.
Please stop secondary conversations or leave.
Yeah, it's kind of serious.
Yeah. We just want to know.
I guess I was just acting stupid. Thinking,
Brother,
Mistakes
brother,
sometimes.
I'm sorry. You
Mhm.
sexually interacted with a 17-year-old.
Yes.
You were being stupid?
Say your piece a bit later. Okay?
So,
Yeah,
what
yeah, I
were you
got
saying
you.
about a small town? Because yes, I live in one as well.
Do you know it's like having a small town with nearly anybody your age? It's painful.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Sorry, I couldn't help but gag.
If
Sometimes
you're
I can't
gonna have
control it.
comments and questions, concerns, mute yourself.
No, I'm
please, no.
genuine. I'm serious.
I know,
I
I
genuinely
know,
could
but-
not control that.
You could.
Just mute yourself. Okay.
Okay, I'll try.
Well, what else was going through your mind at that time?
I don't know, just... I thought
Oh,
I did it. Somebody would be,
can I say something real quick? Real quick. Just real quick. You say, do you know what it's like to not have people your age around the town? I'm sorry. This is VR chat. Why not just look for someone your age here? Huh?
Or go on a dating app, preferable.
Yeah. Why is that, buddy?
But my thinking is a little bit.
Was it just that you thought, oh, it's just a game? There's nothing wrong with it.
Yes. Yes, like he's saying, good job. I like your words.
I guess I thought it was just a game.
But it's not.
Well,
It was someone's feelings. Someone who was scared to come forward about this information. And the only reason why they came forward was because we were supporting their side of the story.
Can I just say something real quick?
this is ignorance. Oh, well,
If you
Yes.
thought this was just a game, does that mean like you just thought you were the player and now all of us are just fucking NPCs?
No,
Yeah. Oh.
I get it. I get it. What I did was...
Yeah, what do you get? What do you get, bud? What do you get? What do you get? What you get?
What I did was unforgivable. And
Uh-huh.
And you need to face repercussions.
yes, I will.
Bless you.
You will, because we will make sure of it.
Yeah, welcome back. What does it say? You know, You still have to think things over after all of these clips and the screenshots that's been provided. I mean, it's been a week. It's literally been a week. Here he is. Screenshots have been provided. Now we're going to them being a pro shipper. Now, you know, when the victim contacted me and showed the screenshots of their conversation and kept updating me of what has been going on, I kind of sat down and I thought, how can a 28-year-old adult, this is an adult, they have they have a developed brain, behave like this to a victim and completely ignore evidence despite it being provided, but taking an immediate stance to one of their friends? Why is this possible? So I did what I do best. I went investigating. I went to check what's going on. So here, Barabones being a pro shipper. After Carlton had received these screenshots, he was very puzzled on how a 28-year-old could think and behave like this to a victim of pedophilia. An investigation was held which unearthed the Barabones as a pro shipper. For those who do not know what a pro shipper is here's a definition from Wiktionary. Pro plus shipper, one who supports romantic or sexual relationships between characters. Some posit that the second sense originated as a blend of problematic and ship. Right. Pro shippers find it acceptable to ship characters despite the relationship being taboo or problematic. The primary excuse that these individuals hold is that due to it being fictional, it does not hurt anyone, nor does it break any moral values due to it being fictional. Some say they still recognize that it is problematic and that they are capable of differentiating it from reality. Although indulging in problematic media, even if you understand that it is wrong, is contradicting. I mean, imagine the fact that if somebody were to watch fictional CP, do we go like, oh, I know it's bad in real life, but I can still watch it. That doesn't add up. It doesn't add up at all, does it? No. Pro shipping is an umbrella term which houses many problematic topics, including incest and pedophilia. Either shipping siblings together or shipping minors with adults. Mind you, any fictional work of pedophilia that does not explicitly shed it in a negative light, and just being a ship of minor and an adult, is illegal to mean quite literally CP or child abuse material. That makes sense, no? Right? And the, you know, pro shipping being such an umbrella term that even houses those type of people, it's weird. It's weird, you know? It's really... Problematic topics have to be handled with care and seriousness. Problematic topics should be seen as problematic and nothing more than that. Pro shippers may argue that people who stand against this are for censorship, but the main vocal point that should be brought up is that topics like these should be handled with care, and romanticization of any problematic topic should be censored. When you write stories and include harmful stereotypes in them, sure, it's just words on paper, but putting it out into the world for others to consume means you are continuing to perpetuate those harmful stereotypes. Those stereotypes have real-world effects on actual minorities. This is why there are stereotypes. The media does impact real life. They do kind of argue that media does not impact real life, that it's just a complete disconnection, that, you know, that something being written wouldn't affect something in real life. But I'm going to tell the viewer, what piece of fiction have physically affected you? What piece of fiction do you think have actually affected real life? I mean, hey, look, refer to negative impacts of fiction. We'll skip this so far, but I've done my own little look into this, and I'm not really in the shipping space, right? But I had to kind of dig deep into this and kind of look and investigate and do some research. General impact. Hey, editing Carthol here. I just realized that another excuse that for pro shippers that I don't bring up in my video is that they say they consume this media to cope, right? That's a coping mechanism. I'll just say this right now. Not all coping mechanisms are good, right? Some coping mechanisms, including, do include self-harm. Self-harm isn't good, right? Just like consuming any media that could include incest, rape, pedophilia, or anything the like. That excuse of it being a coping mechanism does not work. It really doesn't work. It still is bad nonetheless. Also, while still researching and looking in, because, you know, this is not really my ground to be in, still trying to figure things out, found a video where there's like really good takes, and I'm going to include it in this video, because the takes are really good, really informative, and I'll have them playing after here.
Is essentially the belief that problematic and taboo subjects should not be censored in media, and that people should be able to enjoy whatever they want in fiction without being harassed over it. Being pro-ship does not mean supporting every problematic trope or ship to exist. Many pro-shippers dislike a lot of popular quote-unquote pro-ship tropes, such as lolly-show, incest, age gap, and others. Disliking these things does not make anyone less pro-ship than people who like them. As long as that person doesn't harass anyone who enjoys these tropes, they're still just as pro-ship as someone who enjoys them. Being pro-ship isn't about finding the quote-unquote most problematic ship you can, but rather enjoying yourself in fiction and letting others enjoy themselves in fiction. Pro-shippers believe in tagging their content correctly and utilizing the filtering and blacklisting features to avoid content they don't want to see. Pro-shipping isn't morally wrong or evil, in fact that couldn't be further from the truth. Pro-shipping is all about minding your own business and supporting others who are doing the same thing. It is also about separating fiction from reality and acknowledging that while fiction can affect reality, 9 times out of 10 it won't, and knowing when and where to draw that line. So essentially, pro-shipping is just believing that art shouldn't be censored and that people shouldn't be harassed for the type of art they consume, whether you personally like or approve of it or not. What pro-shipping is not / does not mean. Pro-problematic shipping, pro-pedophilia, abuse, incest, etc. Pro-grooming, or inherently NSFW or 18+. So the belief that problematic and taboo subjects shouldn't be censored in media. Okay, that makes sense because just because it's in media doesn't mean that it's being romanticized. As long as the shitty character is supposed to be shitty, that makes sense. But the second line? If you've seen me literally anywhere on the internet, you know that I vehemently defend the literal fact that fiction does affect reality, because it's impossible for it not to. If it didn't, then it wouldn't make you happy or upset or excited. It would make you feel or think absolutely nothing, as if you never even saw it in the first place. And if someone is enjoying and or encouraging others to enjoy very problematic and harmful things such as incest and abuse, yeah, I think people should talk about that. And if bad enough, maybe even the H word, because to say that no one is deserving of that kind of treatment is the epitome of ignorance and privilege to be that ignorant. While fiction can affect reality 9 times out of 10, it won't, and knowing when or where to draw that line. What in the absolute world makes you think that fiction, made by humans, for their reactions, to make them feel a certain way, won't affect them 9 times out of 10? Pardon? Okay, so being a pro-shipper doesn't mean looking for problematic ships, and you don't have to have a single problematic ship in order to be a pro-shipper. Okay, I get that. However, what it does mean, according to this, is that you don't harass or speak out against anyone who does ship or support problematic things. Therefore, being a pro-shipper means not speaking out against harmful and hurtful behavior and ships, and supporting harmful things via fiction. Do you genuinely think that enjoying and spreading said enjoyment about ships with and about abuse, incest, and pedophilia isn't bad? That doesn't reflect who you are as a person? Please explain to me how the content that you enjoy consuming and making has nothing to do with who you are. How does genuinely enjoying these things via shipping not harming anyone? How does publicly enjoying, say, incestuous content, not normalizing it or supporting it in any way? You think that a pedophile enjoying lolicon, aka pedophilia, won't see people shipping pedophilic ships and no one speaking out against it and not feel at least even just 1% more supported or welcome? Speaking out against harmful things is what keeps harmful things from happening. Being silent in the face of harm and hurt encourages said harm and hurt, because why would they stop doing it if no one's telling them to? Art made by humans affects and reflects reality. What art you make reflects who you are, and what art you make will affect other people. That's the point. That's why if you write awful characters such as pedos or family fuckers and they're supposed to be bad people, that's different and doesn't necessarily reflect the writer in a bad way. But if you write it and then glamorize, romanticize, or sexualize it as if it's not a bad thing, then once again, that reflects who you are. And what is the reflection saying? That you're okay with these things. or even actively enjoy it. If you write a book where someone is raped and the rapist is bad, then that's good, because rape is bad and no one should do it. And depending on the context, can be written in a very healthy way and in a way that doesn't hurt or harm those who have been raped and are traumatized by it. However, if you write a book where someone is raped and it's brushed off and or just completely fine, that the rape is glamorized, romanticized, or sexualized, how is that good or helpful in any way? How does that not harm anyone? How does that not support rapists? Enjoying sexualized rape makes you dangerous and makes you a supporter of rape. There is no other reason to enjoy the trauma and brutalization of someone. You know who enjoys that stuff? Rapists. Maybe look who you're standing beside in your enjoyment. And saying that people shouldn't speak up about how that content is harmful and to not call out the creators for it is supporting the creator via silence. Maybe you want to say, I'm not saying that, I'm just saying not to harass. First off, why not? Second, what is your definition of harassment? And third, harassment is any unwanted behavior, physical or verbal or even suggested, that makes a reasonable person feel uncomfortable, humiliated, or mentally distressed. First off, reasonable person? Are you calling these people reasonable people? Second, are you saying that we shouldn't be making pedophiles, incestuous people, and people who enjoy rape uncomfortable, humiliated, or mentally distressed? So you're saying that you want people to keep doing what they're doing even though it hurts people. So, in other words, you literally support them. And if you want to try and use the ridiculous excuse, but a lot of them are kids, but they're a kid. What if they're a kid? Then, yeah, it's not their fault then. They shouldn't be looking at this shit at certain ages, and it's not their fault that others have decided to let it exist long enough for them to find and identify with it. And they should be educated and treated like the children that they are, not adults. So, anyways, fiction doesn't affect or reflect reality. I don't care what anyone does with fiction. Okay, then why does representation in fictional media matter so much? Why do girls see fictional female characters being abused and grow up thinking that that's okay and what should be the case? Why did all of those black little girls light up in excitement when they saw an Ariel who looked like them? Why did all of those black women cry from both hurt and hope when they saw an Ariel who looked like them after years upon years, a lifetime of not seeing fictional people who looked like them in media? Why did all of those queer people cry and rejoice when they saw people who love and look and act like them in fictional media such as Our Flag Means Death or Heartstopper, if fiction doesn't affect reality? If fiction doesn't reflect reality, then why has there been little to no representation for black people, people of color in general, queer people, healthy treatment of women, disabled people, etc.? Because I thought we accepted the fact that racism and misogyny and ableism exists and was so normalized that those who were and are those things are the ones creating all this art. What, did you think we hit a certain year and all of those people magically went away or woke up one day with different beliefs for no reason? You think that all of those men in charge of running Game of Thrones included all those graphic rape scenes, many of which weren't even in the books and have no further point later on, because they don't like rape content or want to pander to the clearly large amount of men that do? That they forced the girls on set to film nude and rape scenes even when they were crying and stressed and children for no reason? That they didn't do it because they're violently misogynistic? Right. Imagine being sexually assaulted, a victim of incest, a survivor of abuse, then getting on the internet either at all or for your coping mechanism, then seeing your abuse romanticized, sexualized, and lusted after. Yeah, that definitely won't lead to anyone going permanently to sleep. Pro-shipping gives a safe space to those who do feel the same in real life. It gives them somewhere to belong and talk to others who feel the same way, even if just in fiction, and therefore makes them feel validated and safe. That's what you want? Awesome. But it's a coping mechanism for people who have gone through it and even some who haven't. Y'all heard the term coping mechanism and ran with it faster than Usain Bolt ever could. You know what's also a coping mechanism? Self-harm. Anything can be a coping mechanism. Because all that is something that helps you to cope with something else. OMG, almost like using pro-shipping as a coping mechanism for the hatred of pedophiles when you're a pedophile. Hey, your coping mechanism isn't valid when it hurts people. You don't get to harm others because it helps you. Like, what? OMG, let me cope with the abuse that my father did to me. By enjoying ships where a father abuses their child. Like, what? Therapy! Now! Long story short, even in its most innocent version, being a pro-shipper can't be good or moral if your morals have to do with things like incest is bad, abusing people is bad, hurting people is bad. And if you were once one as a kid, that's not your fault. What matters is becoming a better person now and realizing that it's bad and it wasn't your fault. And if you're one now, then maybe just think about what your morals are and why your morals are that way. If you care about people, then ask yourself why you're a supporter of pro-shipping. If you don't care about people, ask yourself why not. And ask yourself how you'd feel if someone didn't care about anyone else because anyone else includes you. And if it doesn't work with yourself as the example, think about someone that you care about.
Alright, that's the end of that video. We'll get right back. I just want to credit them because basically you did take half of their video. Sword and Stone is their name. I recommend watching their entire video. It had a really valid takes. Let's go back to the video. I'll also link it in the description. It's fiction. All of these are linked, but I'm gonna read the headlines that I've basically reviewed up. Reading fiction impacts aggressive behavior, right? Your brain on fiction, how fiction changes your world, social impacts, does a general impact. Now, scientific research papers, peer-reviewed by the way, that show that consumption of fiction affects your brain and empathy, okay? The effect of reading and watching fiction on the development of social cognition, a systematic review. This is from the NCBI, so I think it's called the National Library of Medicine, give or take. Here, how does fiction reading influence empathy? An experimental investigation on the role of emotional transportation. The authors found that reading fictional stories increased empathy over a 1 week period, right? But what if you read something that's the opposite of it? Wouldn't that lead to negative spaces? Here, this interdisciplinary article explores how fictional narratives, particularly romantic ones, can serve as a model for understanding human behavioral change. So, romantic fiction can serve as a model for understanding humans' behavioral changing. So, even that can be monitored, that fiction does change your behavior. So, the things you consume can lead to your behaviors changing, okay? Keep that in mind. Participants who read a fictional story containing both true and false real-world assertions exhibited significant shifts in belief. So when a fictional story had some true or false, IRL conceptions or ideas, it affected their belief. Like fiction affects your beliefs, it affects your empathy, it affects your way of thought, it changes you as a person. The thing you consume every day. I mean, it's media. We see everything every day. We change as a person depending on what we read and watch. Here. Sub-analysis indicate that certain media types, particularly violent pornography, have stronger correlations with RMA, rape myth acceptance. Right? So that is scary, because we'll get into how that could relate. And this kind of, knowing that Barabones is a pro-shipper, if Barabones, if you're still watching, this explains something a lot. And you know what I'm referring to. Reading this explains something to me about you. This comprehensive meta-analytic review examines how exposure to sexualized media content, both violent and non-violent, affects aggression-related thoughts, feelings, attitudes, and behaviors. So yet again, both sexualized media, violent and non-violent, does affect you, however how you consume it. Here, the cross-sectional study surveyed 568 Flemish adolescents aged 15 to 18 to explore how sexualizing online media practice, like exposure to sexually explicit content, are related to rape myth acceptance, resistance to the #MeToo movement. These findings highlight how online sexualized media can shape sexist beliefs and attitudes toward contemporary efforts to combat sexism. So, if young people growing up on sexualized online media can lead to negative beliefs like sexism. So, when someone like Barabones is consuming media that we're going to get into, how does that affect their view on victims of, let's say, pedophilia? Or victims in general? Well, it's slowly starting to add up. These articles, these peer-reviewed university articles, it's not just like a guy on a company, on a news magazine, that just decide to write something out of something. These are universities. This experimental research shows that euphemistic language, using softer or indirect terms instead of more direct language, reduces how severe people judge moral violations. Even when participants were prompted to reinterpret euphemisms clearly, the effects persisted. This underscores that choice of words in sensitive context can bias moral evaluation, weakening accountability. So, if you use a lighter word to describe a violent crime, you'll see the violent crime less impactful, less violent. And the reason why that relates a lot, we'll get into that. Here, negative impacts of fiction. Blanket trigger warning for gore, rape, torture, murder, and abuse. It's a bunch of crimes committed through people being affected by either shows, books, series, movies, what do you want to tell it, right? So there is a clear impact between people and fiction. Media in general. I mean, propaganda posters, they've been used by political parties for the longest time. Some of them are fictional, okay? These are medias. Media has always, throughout life, language has always affected us in real life, looking that to the other way. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because when it comes to pro-shippers, apparently, they like to argue against that it doesn't affect real life. They try to make a big disconnection between it and fiction, right? When it does have a lot of overlapping layers. And here, yes, arguing that fiction doesn't affect reality is racist. In case you want to, argue a little bit more, fiction impacts our perception of Asians, negative effects of mascots on Native Americans. Birth of a Nation, the movie, literally revived the KKK. So, what am I supposed to say? Now, you might be going, okay, where's the evidence of them being a pro-shipper, Carthol? Continue reading. Barabones has been shown to be a pro-shipper. Several screenshots showing their reblogs on Tumblr of Swap Dream, Swad, and Swan engaging in incest. Mind you, this is a full-grown adult indulging in the idea of incest. You can probably see the most disgusting screenshots on the screen right now. Why do you like incest? I mean, this is not... I'll keep on reading. It cannot be argued as self-cest due to the fact that the post literally and deliberately goes out of their way to state that they are brothers. Not only that, the artists are pro-shippers, okay? As much as pro-shippers want to argue that they do not depict the topics in a light manner, the posts and the arts regarding the topics are usually depicted in a wholesome manner, rather than actually problematic, as if the relationship is normal or to have or be viewed. Due to this information, it may explain why Barabones did not take the victim seriously at all and disregarded the evidence of an adult literally being sexual in a minor's DMs. It shows that pro-shippers lack any and all moral values, disguising their excuse of separation of reality as means of downplaying the abhorrent interest due to their interest reblogs and handling of situation with a victim of pedophilia. I yet again stand my ground and say cut contact with these creators. They seem to not understand how to handle a situation like this with any respect, nor do they hold morals to tend to a community involving minors. I don't condone any harassment to anyone that has been mentioned. I've been seeing as of late that people have been saying they've been harassed for wearing Jeya's avatars. I would like to say, do not harass them. Inform them with respect. I do not condone any harassment. Anybody who goes to harass, that's a piece of shit, okay? Don't go harass anybody. Nonetheless, that said, as you've seen from the screenshots, and now we can go... See how these university pages kind of make sense when you take screenshots, like when you take literal incest, okay? It's just literal incest. When you take literal incest and make it cute or wholesome, you literally downplay the horrendous crime of it, right? Which is, if this is blatant disrespect to any victims of incest. Any victims of incest. It's just clear as day that it's disrespect. Because what will you say to the victims that have been affected by incest? Clearly you don't care. You don't care about those victims, which shows quite clearly in a victim of pedophilia you didn't care about them. You say you take some matter like that very seriously, yet no action has been taken. Now 7 days has been gone by. That's 3 less days than 10 days of Jeaya. Jeaya took them 10 days to get him banned. Even then, it seemed a bit disingenuous. What's going on? Hurry up. as said, if it gets seen, and if you actually are an adult and you recognize your wrongs, you cut contact, right? You cut contact with Jeaya, because he's been proven. You cut contact with all of them. You make it a public apology to the victims and your community for putting them in harm's way because of having a predator in there. And you especially apologize to the victim for being rude to them. This is not okay, right? And you cut disinterest of incest, you know? I feel like it has to be said. You stop consuming this. Genuinely, stop. It's a disrespect to victims. So I hope you grow as a person, just like with Jeaya in the first doc. This doc is here to provide a way to show what you've done and that you can improve, right? Now, if you make a response and you try to deflect and you try to argue your way out of it, I'll respond back as per always. I will speak up for the victims. The moment you do not respect the victims, I will still be on your ass, just like I was with Jeaya. But I can drop the Jeaya thing for now, because they have banned the pedophile, and I'm glad that has happened. I'm relieved that has happened, although I do want to see a public apology from the entire team to the victims and the minors affected, because it's not okay. Now, I don't know, I want to say this, I don't know if Bara's interest in incest goes to sexual lengths, that they may consume pornography of depicting incest. Now, I don't know if they would spend money on perhaps, like, I don't know, something that would resemble incest in one way, shape, or form. I do hope it's not. I do hope the answer is no. But if it is, cut that shit out. Cut it completely. That's all for me, and I will say this, I will still stand for the victims, and I will keep on talking. Thank you.